everyone, in today's sewing tutorial, I am going to show you how I made this simple dress with half circle skirt and square neckline. So if you want to see how, then keep on watching. The fabric that I'm using today was actually a tablecloth that is cotton fabric. I got this at the thrift store for $3. If you want to save money on fabrics, definitely check out the thrift store. You will find good deals there. First thing, I wash the fabric so it doesn't shrink. Then I fold it in half and I place the pattern piece on fold, and I will extend the skirt by about 5 inches because I want it to be a little longer than the pattern. When I open it up, it's going to be one piece, and at the back seam I added an extra 1 inch just because I just want to have that wiggle room because I made this sewing pattern like a long time ago. I'm going to cut out the front bodice. As you can see, I moved the neckline or the pattern just as much because I want to make sure that the neckline will not gape. This is the same sewing pattern that I had been using in a lot of my sewing project, but I am going to alter the neckline because I want it to be square. Grain line is going this way. Sewing allowance is already included in the pattern, so I didn't have to do that here. Next, I'm going to cut out the back bodice. I gave it 1 inch back seam for the zipper and then I trace it out. And for the waistline, I added about 1/2 inch just so I have enough wiggle room because I made this sewing pattern long time ago and I just want some wiggle room. I don't want a very tight dress. Since this is going to be fully lined, I cut out the same pieces for the lining fabric. And this is the skirt lining and this is the main skirt. Now it's time to close the darts, and I did the same thing for the front bodice lining. Then I joined the bodices right at the shoulders and the side seams. I repeated the same for the lining. After that, I joined the lining and the main fabric at the neckline. Right sides of the fabrics are facing, then stitch from one end to the other. I'm sorry I didn't have that clip. I probably deleted it or I wasn't recording. Anyway, I understitched the lining so it will stay in place. Then I serge the raw edge of the armholes, then fold it in and sew in the round. I decided to do it this way so when I change my mind later on, if I want sleeves, I can easily attach it. So this is the bodice and it's looking good. This is done. Now it's time to work on the skirt. So I stitched the side seams of the lining. Then I will match it on the waistline of the bodice lining. So I'm just going to stitch from here to the other end. And I repeated the same for the main fabric. Right sides of the fabrics are facing. Next step is adding the zipper. From the top edge of the zipper, I mark it 3/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to place that marking all the way down. Then I'm going to mark the seams. So it's going to be super easy when we are matching up the zipper and the seams later on. And then I mark how long I want the zipper and I place a mark right there. And I'm also going to do the same thing on the dress. Going to press the zipper just so I can open up the coil a little bit, but be careful when you do this, you don't want to melt the zipper. First thing, I fold in the top edge of the zipper, then I match the right sides of the fabric and the zipper together. Just pay attention on how I place the zipper on the fabric. It's kind of hard to explain it, but you are going to place the left side of the zipper on the right side of the fabric. Right sides of the fabric and zipper are facing. You will do a mirror image of that on the other side. So you are going to flip the zipper. You can test it out by zipping the zipper, just like I did here. So now I'm safe to proceed. Because I marked the zipper earlier, it's so much easier to match up the seams. And here I am using an invisible zipper foot. It should look like this, and if the seam doesn't match up perfectly, don't worry about it, okay? Now it's time to close the back seam. So from here all the way down to the hemline. Next, it's time to deal with the lining. At first, it is a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually very easy. Looking at this clip, it looks a little messy and confusing, but bear with me. So you're going to pull out the lining and you are going to fold it over to the right side of the fabric, encasing the zipper. And make sure the neckline is nice and flat. And then you're just going to pin, use the zipper as your guideline. I repeated the same thing to the other side. I'm just going to stitch right along here, encasing the zipper teeth. Turn it right side out, and if you need to trim some seam allowance, you can go ahead and do that if it's too bulky. Then I gave it a good press so it is nice and crisp. And it's time to close the back seam, so you're just going to sew right here. This is what the dress look like, and the inside looks really nice and pretty. What's left to do is hem the dress and it is done. I usually wait a day before I hem it because I let it drape. Then I trim it. If it's not even anymore, then finish hemming the dress. And this is what it looks like. I absolutely love how it turned out. The neckline is actually perfect. It's not gaping. So I'm so happy about that. Thanks so much for watching. Follow, likes, and share, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!